Are you looking for the best attachments for the best SMG in Warzone, the Owen Gun? Well, I'm going to give you the best beginner, mid-level, and fully leveled attachments for the weapon to ensure you get more kills in every single game. Now, let's quickly discuss what makes this gun so good. The Owen Gun has the fastest time to kill in Warzone between 10 and 25 meters, which with SMGs, that's where most engagements are at. Meaning that in most 1v1 situations, the Owen Gun beats the MP40 every single time. Another great positive for this gun is that it excels in fighting multiple enemies at once or in quick succession, as it has a 72 round magazine, meaning you'll have to reload this gun far less often than you will with other SMGs, meaning you can actually squad wipe an entire enemy team without having to reload. Now, there is one massive downside for this gun, and if you've tried this gun, you already probably know what I'm talking about. The magazine. It's just in the way of everything. But that being said, there are some workarounds with some certain attachments, but I'll get onto that later in the video. For those of you that don't own Vanguard and want to level up this gun as quickly as possible, my suggestion is to head into a plunder and do supply runs all game, as these give out increasing amounts of weapon XP and XP the more you complete in one match. Just make sure you're holding the Owen Gun out when you or a teammate completes the contract, otherwise you won't gain any XP towards that weapon. On top of this, make sure you have any double weapon XP tokens active and use the Appointment perk in perk slot 2 and the Surplus Gun perk for additional weapon XP. Now let's move on to the attachments. For the early level attachments, we'll be taking the following. For the muzzle, we'll be running the T1 flash hider for improved recoil control. For the barrel, we won't be running anything, as the first barrel just reduces the headshot damage and reduces recoil control, which isn't something you want to be doing. For the optic, take the NIDAR model 47, as the iron sights on this gun are pretty terrible. For the stock, we won't be taking anything here, as the first one just reduces recoil control, which isn't something you want to be doing. For the underbarrel, we are taking the Carver foregrip for additional hipfire accuracy and recoil control. For the magazine, don't take anything here, as it just reduces the damage output of the gun, which makes it longer to kill your enemies. So not something we want to do. For the ammo type, you want to be taking the FMJ rounds for additional bullet penetration. For the rear grip, take the stippled grip for additional initial firing recoil control. For perk 1, we'll be running steady for additional firing move speed. For perk 2, take whatever you have unlocked, as not many of these are that useful early on. You can see the full build on the screen now. Now let's move on to the mid-level attachments. For the muzzle, we'll be running the Strife Compensator for additional recoil control. For the barrel, we won't be running anything again, as the first and second barrels just reduce headshot damage, reduces recoil control, reduces damage, and again, these aren't things you want to be doing. For the optic, take the Slate Reflector for additional clarity whilst aiming down sight. For the stock, you want to be taking the removed stock for additional movement speed, aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, and aim walking movement speed. I know I mentioned before about not reducing the recoil control on this gun, but with this attachment, the pros really outweigh the cons. For the underbarrel, we are taking the Mark 6 skeletal for additional aim down sight speed. For the magazine, don't take anything here, as the other attachments just reduce either the magazine size or just make it longer to kill your enemies. For the ammo type, we want to be taking the incendiary rounds, as it gives you additional damage output on your enemies. For the rear grip, take the rubber grip for additional recoil control. For perk 1, we'll be running acrobatic for additional movement speed and sprinting movement speed. For perk 2, take surplus for additional weapon XP whilst using this gun to unlock attachments at a much faster rate. You can see the full build on the screen now. Now let's get into what we've all been waiting for, the fully leveled attachments. For the muzzle, we'll be running the recoil booster for a faster fire rate. For the barrel, we'll be running the Hawkinson 305mm precision for improved recoil control, headshot damage, and aim down sight speed. For the optic, take the M38 Slate 2.5 times custom to be able to get rid of that magazine blocking the right hand side of your screen, as you can see now on screen. But just make sure you ensure that you switch from the 2.5 times zoom to the Slate Reflector every single time you pick this weapon up. For the stock, you want to be taking the remove stock for additional movement speed, aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, and aim walking movement speed. And again, I know I mentioned about not reducing the recoil control previously on this gun, but the pros for this attachment really outweigh the cons. For the underbarrel, we are taking the Mark 6 skeletal for additional aim down sight speed. For the magazine, we are taking the 9mm 72 round mags for vastly increased magazine size. For the ammo type, we want to be taking the incendiary rounds, as it gives you additional damage output on your enemies. For the rear grip, take the fabric grip for additional aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, and hip fire accuracy. For perk 1, we'll be running acrobatic for additional movement speed and sprinting movement speed, allowing you to be more mobile. And for perk 2, take quick for improved sprint speed for the same reason as the last. You can see the full build on the screen now. If you did find this video useful, make sure you hit that like button. And if you'd like to see another guide for the broken, no recoil, best assault rifle on Warzone, the Automaton, click on the video on screen now. And if you did make it all the way to the end, let me know in the comments section below the SMG you're finding the most success with.